have that going for us with Sports Open Line and Sports on a Sunday Morning, developed years ago by Jack Buck and Robert Hyland and all the great people that have hosted this show through the years. They came up with the At Your Service product and hosts and taking phone calls, and it has been a great run of sports talk here on KMOX, kind of the pioneer of call-in radio, if you will, this radio station. I don't know if you knew that, but now you do. We also are the home of the St. Louis Cardinals, and I'd be remiss if I didn't start with that very thing. Since we've talked to you on the show last, we have officially announced that we are the home of the Cardinals for a multi-year agreement. We've signed an extension with the club. We plan on being the voice of the Cardinals for years and years to come, and I appreciate all the great commentary. Some of the comments that I've heard from some of our great listeners is it's the way it should be. That's what a lot of people have said. And I know it feels like it's an automatic, like you just check the box, KMOX, renew. But it doesn't always work that way. It's a business. The media business is, I don't even know how to put it at this point. The media business is changing, let's say. Every single day, things are changing. Everyone's trying to get the leg up on the competition, trying to figure out what it's going to look like moving forward, et cetera. And we have navigated that here at KMOX, just continuing to evolve as a radio station, even in our 100th year. And we're about to turn 100 on December 24th. We have changed, our streaming accessibility, both audio and video. Some of you may be watching this right now on Facebook, X, and YouTube. We weren't doing that not too long ago. We have put ourselves on FM. That's a big move there. FM dial, 104.1 FM. Some of you still listen on 1120, and that's fine. I think eventually what you'll find is that 104.1 FM is a clear, crisp signal. You can get indoors. You can get all through the St. Louis area. It's a strong signal. I have some friends just like you who say, I'm not getting off that 1120 dial just yet. I like the sound of AM. That's fine. But, eventually we brand ourselves as 104.1 FM, KMOX, and I listen to it on 104.1, and I was an 1120 guy. Heck, my Twitter handle is 1120, Ackerman 1120. I'll keep it because I like nostalgia. But I love the fact that the Cardinals are with us and that you are with us. And we'll get through this together. Look, this isn't a lot of fun right now, losing. I totally get it. I left the ballpark yesterday after having shown Andrew Price, my dear friend with cerebral palsy, the broadcast booth. He'd been in there before. When he was a little boy, Mike Shannon held him on his lap about 10 or so years ago. I took him onto the field and then brought him up to the booth, and Shannon had some fun with him and had some laughs with him. Yesterday, I presented him with a replica Hall of Fame plaque of Mike Shannon's from the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and Andrew had a big smile and just loved being up in the booth. And it reminded me, not only that, but the day before with a friend, Joey Johnson, who has been through a lot medically, and before that, a family that I think just really soaked in the whole thing, big Cardinals fans from just outside of town in Jackson, Missouri, and they were thrilled to get a tour of the Cardinals Hall of Fame and museum, had never been in there before. I sit here every day and talk about the Cardinals, and I can easily get jaded. I can easily get upset about losing, and we'll get to all that. But it was a reminder to me, because I need it sometimes for my own sanity, that the Cardinals are a big deal to a lot of people. They are a way to have a conversation with your family. They are a way to get you through a tough day. They're a way to take your mind off of things. Baseball is always there for you, win or lose. And I know this has been frustrating, but I do take a lot of I'm very grateful for the fan base, the passion of the fan base, both positively and negatively. And I thought that the reaction of all of those people when I showed them the ballpark this past week was nice to see, because it has been a struggle of a season. That said, I remember I dropped my expectations at the beginning of the year, and I just wanted to have some fun with the development of a season and watch these players in development and not worry about the standings. And then the Cardinals got hot, and so they made this interesting, and I got drawn back in. And so the frustration happens when they fall 6.5 out of the division now after losing 7-6 yesterday in gut-wrenching fashion, and falling 2.5 out in the wild card. It's I'm back into this frustration mode. I have to remind myself this is not what this whole picture is about. This is a transition. The Cardinals already stepped on their toes in the past and have admitted that they need a new direction. They've transitioned from John Mozeliak to Chaim Bloom. That's happening here in just a few months. And the Cardinals have an MLB draft pick today at number 5 that is going to be massive for the future of their organization. Number 7 is a big timer. You've already seen J.J. Weatherholt and all that he's done in his very early professional career. So the Cardinals are making moves here. They are on the move, and there are going to be more moves to be made. I want to play a soundbite from Tony La Russa with Tamar Scher of KMOV in just a moment. But let me just answer something because I told him that I would do it right away. And that is, let me see if I can find this. I get a lot of comments on X, and I appreciate everybody. I respect everybody, no matter if you agree with me or not. I try to keep myself pretty level-headed, I would say, when it comes to the Cardinals. I occasionally will fly off the handle. I felt like I did that on Monday after they lost to the Cubs 11-0. I was pretty hot about that, but I cooled off a day later. This one from Gerard, who tweets a lot on my account, and I think sometimes I disagree with him, but I think he's pretty smart when it comes down to it. But he said, looking how the season may play out, Tom, I would have no problem cleaning out the coaching staff and bringing in an outsider, someone Bloom wants. The last 2 managers that were real successful were La Russa and Herzog, outsiders. It seems that coaching nepotism hasn't worked lately. Team needs that outside voice. They want Molina or Pujols, but I don't agree. And I told Gerard I would address that right away. I don't agree with that, Gerard, to this extent. I don't know how you can pin blame on what's been going on Ollie Marmol. I mean, this is an organizational problem that starts at the very, very top. They've fallen behind. They ignored resources in the minor leagues, so they've accelerated the development of players who aren't fundamentally sound, and they push them into the major leagues. You're telling me that Ollie and his staff are supposed to be developing players and the fundamentals at the major league level? They're supposed to win at the major league level. I mean, you're supposed to bring players up the minor league system to win at the major league level. And by the way, Ollie wins some games here and there. I don't know if you've been watching, but he won the division in 22. They weren't good in 23. Arenado and Goldschmidt couldn't hit a beach ball for a part of the year last year, most of the year last year. That's not Ollie's fault either. And this year they've had Miklasz and Fetty throwing straight balls that get hit out of the park. I'm not sure that's Ollie's fault either. There are a lot of things here that you could point to Ollie. He is worthy of criticism, in-game decisions, things that have gone on over the past few years. But if you've watched him, I think he's developed into a pretty decent manager. And overall, I think this team is actually overachieved based on the roster that they have. They're in transition. They're giving young players an opportunity to win. So you can bang on Ollie all you want, but that's not, he was given this job because they fired Mike Schilt. There was a dissent in the room, and then the Schilt was given the job because Mike Matheny, who took the team to the World Series in 13, won 100 games in 15, eventually could not get them any further and lost the clubhouse a little bit. Before that, Tony La Russa retired, and Mike Matheny took over in 2012. The managerial changes have been Matheny, and then Schilt, and then Marmol. And, going through those years, the last great manager was Tony La Russa. I seem to recall a lot of people crushing La Russa for a lot of the stuff that he did. He was more criticized than all of them combined. I don't know if you remember all that. Maybe it's just in the rearview mirror, but he got absolutely smoked for a long time. I mean, to the point where people just didn't like La Russa, and then he ends up winning in 06 and 11 and rides off on the Clydesdales into the sunset. I mean, let me go to Tony here. So this is a question from Tamar Scher about another transition that they are making, and I think he puts this very well. Here is Tony La Russa on KMOV.
I think the most important thing that's going for this organization is the history. And John felt it. In fact, we're going to honor the guy that hired him, Walt Jocketty. And And when Keim comes in, he's going to know the history of this organization. It's based on making fans feel like the team that comes out there is giving their best. They're competitive. They win enough. And it has a way with the Midwest. The players always want to be accountable, and so does the organization. So it really is, you have your own style. I'm sure Keim is different from John. That was different from Walt. But what really connects everything is that there's history. Like when I first came in after half of my career in the American League, Mike Shannon, Jack Buck, they'll pull me aside. Bob, give us an all over. I said, hey, you know what's here? I said, well, tell me. He said, we play where we don't make mistakes. We give the fans our best effort all the time. And like Jack would say, one thing about the Cardinal fans, they're with you win or lose. Most other places, win or tie. So I think just pay attention to what you're accountable for, and they'll do a good job.
I don't think Ollie was given the best situation when he took over as manager. He had to replace the guy who was fired. It was a clunky firing in communication with the fans at the time, and I think that he still suffers from that. And all I'm saying, I'm not telling you he's going to be the manager forever, and could very well be that Chaim Bloom makes his own decision, but let it play out. We are in the transition period right now, and it is going to be interesting here over the next 12 months, actually 6 months, as to what this organization looks like moving forward. Right now, where are they? They're in third place in the National League Central and looking way up. And it just is what it is right now with this team. They've got to find a way to get a win today, get into this break, reset, get healthy, and try to make a run, or it is going to be about 2026 and beyond. I mean, the Cardinals, it is what it is. If you look at the roster, you tell me, the superstars that are going to Atlanta and what the Cardinals have. I mean, they have Brendan Donovan going to the All-Star game. It's time for the Cardinals to get back to developing stars and running them through the system and giving the manager star players to work with. Right now, Ollie Marmol is working with, and I think his staff is working with, and admirably so, a team that is in development. The major league manager should be in a position to go win World Series. It's not anybody. I'm not pointing at one person. I'm pointing at the entire thing. It starts at the top. It's a system that broke, and it's their job to fix it. When we come back, we'll hear from Ollie Marmol about yesterday's 7-6 loss. Also, happy birthday to Yadier Molina. He's 43 today. You talk about a star who was developed, drafted in the 4th round in 2000, and here he is now, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, catcher of his generation. We're going to take a break. Back in a moment. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
It's July. How much time have you spent in your outdoor space? If you had Chesterfield Fence and Deck come out and just trick out your entire yard, well, you could be spending a lot of time out there, maybe even year round. This is Debbie Monterey, and Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your trusted provider of everything you need in your outdoor space, from fences, decks, patios, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, you name it, they can do it. Whether you're just looking for a simple fence or a gate, or you are looking for a brand new patio with a sunroom and a patio and a built-in fireplace and a pizza oven, I mean, you can dream with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And they do free in-home estimates and free project design, or stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley if you're looking to get some new ideas. And mention me, Debbie Monterey. They'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. ChesterfieldFence.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Did you know that McKelvey builds custom homes on individual sites throughout the metropolitan area? We have sites in prime locations from Rock Hill to Wildwood, including several in the coveted Ladue School District. Experience why many have chosen McKelvey Homes with our legendary quality and personalized service to build their dream home. Visit our newly completed Turnberry at 19 Beaver Drive, just north of Ladue and east of Lindbergh. It is loaded with features and now open. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Baseball fans, this is your night. LaRussa's Rescue Champions and the PenFed Foundation for Military Heroes invite you to celebrate Cardinals championships this Wednesday, July 16th at 6:45 p.m. at the Stiefel Theater. Relive the Cardinals' greatest moments from 2000 to 2011 with legendary players, epic game highlights, behind-the-scenes stories, and tributes to the 60s and 80s title runs. Every ticket supports incredible nonprofit causes. Don't miss it, Cardinals Nation.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stiefel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
The 2-2 pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Backing up is Fermin. He's at the track. He jumps and he can't get it. It is off the wall. It's a home run, actually, as it was over the wall. And Murphy has done it again. A 3-run home run for Sean Murphy, his third home run of the series. And the Braves take the lead in the top of the 8th inning by a 6-5 score. And that's what the score was here last night.
And the score ended up being 7-6. The Cardinals tied the game in the 8th inning, but a Profar RBI groundout made it 7-6 in the top of the 9th. And the Cardinals lost yesterday 7-6, a crusher at Busch Stadium. After having a lot of promise and climbing back into it, it just turns out that their best reliever, the guy I think is their MVP of the first half of the season, Phil Maton, allowed his first run in his last 65 appearances. Not the 37 this year. No. 65 appearances, 61 1/3 innings is what that covered before he gave up that home run to Sean Murphy, who is now a Cardinal killer at the top of the list. Here is Ollie Marmol.
It's going to happen at some point, but yeah, he's been really good. I mean, you just got to keep moving when something like that happens. This is a guy that's been incredible for us the entire first half. I mean, you think about where this team is at without Phil, and it gets ugly real quick. So I trust him a ton. Baseball happens at times. Murphy took a good swing on him, so I got no issues with it.
The solo homers against Petty obviously are not what you want, but without the walks and his ability to go get a stretch, and you got 8 of 9, and then you got the one base runner as well.
Yeah, he gave us a look. He did. It was much better than the other outings that we've seen. I don't care what this team's record is as far as Atlanta goes. That's a good club. They got some arms in that pen. That lineup's real. They got superstars all over the place. They haven't put it together for whatever reason this year, but that's a good lineup. So for him to be able to give us a look, keep it to 3, and let our pen kind of jump in and do their deal, give us a shot. Yeah.
This spot with Newport, I assume this is just a recurrence of what he's been.
Yeah, he felt it again. Most likely down tomorrow. We'll use the break and see where we're at. Yeah.
That's left side discomfort for Newport.
Strikeout numbers are down, whiff rates down. You got 2 balls on the ground there. Is that just bad luck?
2 singles. I mean, ground ball, 2 feet to the left. It's now. I mean, yes. Welcome to being a reliever. It sucks at times, and you compare one half to the next, and you can see 2 completely different guys. So that's just part of being a reliever, to be quite honest with you. Yeah.
With what about his personality allows him to get over stuff? You said baseball happening, and he moved forward, even if it's just for a second.
They scored a couple runs on him today. That's all it is. I mean, I'm not sure how to answer that, to be quite honest with you. The guy's really good and gave up a couple runs. Yeah.
He's Phil Maton. You can drop it out, Drew. I appreciate it. He's Phil Maton. I mean, he's going to give up runs. Look, the problem is not Phil Maton. Maton is going to get through that. He won't even blink. He'll be right back at it with an opportunity today. You know how many high leverage situations that guy's pitched? Forget it. That's why he's there in the first place, because he forgets about those things really quickly. I wouldn't worry about that for a second. The problem of the game was multiple things. Beyond that, Eric Fetty can't get through 5 innings. He was better, but I've made my opinion pretty loud and clear for a while now. I think McGreevy needs to be in this rotation full time. And Miklasz, to his credit, pitched well in his last outing, so good for him. Tip of the cap to him after he pitches his scoreless innings. But the Cardinals just don't get enough out of their rotation, and they're taxing their bullpen. And then their offense is fine. I mean, Gorman hits an absolute cannon, his 3rd off a lefty this season. He scores in his 3rd straight game, tying a season-long streak for him. 4th home run to tie a game this season. That is the lead on the team. He's actually tied for 6th in Major League Baseball with 4 home runs to tie ball games. Do you know that? Nolan Gorman, with more at bats, is going to become a power hitting star. I believe it. I'm a Nolan Gorman believer. I think he's going to be really good. By the way, Joel Pozo, my guy, hit a home run. I can't leave that out. So the Cardinals have offense. They have the ability to slug, but they just can't put all the pieces together. And it's just that kind of a season that you're going to have to live with. They're going to have to get fortunate, have everybody healthy, and go on a run here in the second half of the season just to get close. It is a season of development. This is, to me, about 26 right now, seeing who you have. And if you catch fire and you get lucky, great. But this has always been about what is the 2026 season under Chaim Bloom going to look like? Who's going to make it? Who isn't going to make it? And they're going to pick very high in the draft today a player that they might have as part of the 26th season, along with J.J. Weatherholt. Things are about to change around here. I will talk. By the way, one thing I wanted to mention before we go is I mentioned the media world is changing, and I know that there was a big story this week about John Kelly losing his job as the TV voice of the Blues. I'm going to hold that until I talk to Bernie Miklasz. I think Bernie and I know all of the parties really well, and we'll talk about that at 11:45, if that's okay with you. We're going to hang on to that one for a little bit. When we come back, the number one story in St. Louis should be the tornado relief in North City in particular. There are some people really suffering right now, and we cannot let this fall out of the news cycle. And one of the people who's making that happen is St. Louis boxer Devon Alexander. He is going to join us live next on KMOX to talk about an event that he is doing here in the city in August that is going to raise money and awareness for the tornado victims in the city. They have a long road ahead, and we cannot forget about them. We'll be back in a moment. It's 10:30. This is Sports on a Sunday morning. Brett Norsworthy is going to talk about one of my favorite topics at 10:45, college football. Don't go anywhere. Lutz Pfannenstiel, John Mozeliak, Bernie Miklasz. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
The heat's really been extreme last week or so. I have a wife that's going through change of life, and she woke me up 3 a.m. and said there's something wrong with the air conditioner. I checked the thermostat, and it's set at 66, and it is saying 66. Like we set it every single night. I said, okay, how do you feel? She said, okay, well, as long as it's 66. And then within 2 minutes, all the covers are back on her, and she says she is freezing. I said, honey, the air conditioner isn't broke. Your thermostat is broke. So if you're living that way, My advice is this. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but here's what I do. I keep my laughter inside. It is real what they're feeling. You don't need to call me. You can say you called me, but you don't need to call me. Save your money. This is Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. God bless.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hey guys, Clever here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This Siteman Cancer Center spotlight how innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Dr. John DePercio.
Patients have come here from all over the United States and, in fact, all over the world to get evaluated and treated for this treatment. We hope that this can be continued, that we demonstrate in a clinical trial that it's safe and effective, and that ultimately it will be approved by the FDA so it's available to everyone in the world.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We're still efforting to get Devon Alexander, so let me just tell you real quick about him. He was a teenage sensation here in St. Louis as an up-and-coming boxer. He's now 37 years old, still doing great things for the community. And on August 2nd, he's going to have an exhibit at Vashon High School boxing to raise money for tornado victims. They are still struggling here in the St. Louis area. He has a foundation to get kids off the street and within the ring, and to teach them discipline, the discipline of boxing, to keep the fights in the ring and not on the streets. And I love what Devon is doing here in the St. Louis area. So thanks to Devon Alexander. Sorry we weren't able to connect phone-wise, but I hope you all look up him and what he's doing on August 2nd at Vashon to benefit the tornado victims. Let me rip through some of our comments here on YouTube, especially, although we've got Ed says I'm looking good. I appreciate that, Ed. I appreciate that, Dad. He calls me calls me son, so I call him dad. I love Ed. Hey guys, what about Atlanta taunting with the bird motion? No action taken. Come on. Were they? Did they taunt the bird? I saw Ozuna do a little dance around third, but he always does that little stagger step around third after he hit his home run. The Braves can't talk. All right. The Braves fans can't talk to Cardinals fans. You know how many times the Braves have beaten the Cardinals in a postseason series? Once, ever. 1996, last time they did it. Last time they did it, 1996, in a 7-game series in the NLCS. They haven't beaten the Cardinals since then, and they never beat them before then. So I don't want to hear it from the Braves. All right. Just speculation, says Verlis. I bet Bloom keeps Ollie. I think Ollie does a good job overall. I can't answer that question because I haven't spoken to Chaim about that, nor has he talked about that. But my gut tells me that that is true. I don't think any of this can be pointed to Ollie. I think Ollie's going to be a good big league manager for a long time. Still the youngest manager, and he gets better. He gets better every year, not only with his in-game, with his bullpen management, with his player relations, but also I think his communication has gotten better. And that's not just because we put him on a Gas House Gang show on Tuesday that we promote, but I do think that it's part of it. I think he has taken criticism better. I think he's grown a thick skin. I think he's becoming a big league manager right before our eyes. Well, he is one, but I think a good one, actually. And, we'll see where it all goes. I'm not saying he's perfect. Nobody is. KT says it's not the manager, folks. It's non-talent. Yeah, they have talent. They just don't have enough of it. Is the game in jeopardy today due to the rain? Asks Jeremy. Great question. Looking at the radar, that is traveling northeast right now. Traveling northeast, I see it. And according to my app, it is going to hit right around game time. But, these apps, sometimes these predictions are hit or miss. It looks like it's going to grow in strength and hit around 2, and we're through it downtown at about 4. So if they were to delay this, perhaps they start the game at 4 in the afternoon instead of 1:15. That's just me guessing. I don't know the answer to that. We'll talk to John Mozeliak in an hour about that. DS Bill says that Murphy flapped the wings around second base. I did not catch that. I was at the game sitting in the booth with Andrew yesterday. So I saw the home run, but I didn't look at the TV replay. So I did not catch that. Thank you for that, DS Bill. Who else did I want to get to? Kevin, who I really like. Kevin said La Russa was crushed because of his Cali lifestyle. I guess, Northern California, wasn't a Midwestern guy, but he sure figured out the Midwest, didn't he? I just played that soundbite for you. He sure adapted, and he had some teams that flat played hard-nosed, good baseball. And La Russa had been in the game long enough that he could clash with us about decisions. And one of his famous lines to me and everybody else who would ask him about his decisions, he would say, like to manage against you someday. He was fun to work with. He was tough. I learned a lot from him. I see some of him in terms of his dealings with the media in Ollie. Ollie has a lot of a long way to go, but remember now he's managed, this is year number 4. So he's seen a lot already. And I think one of the things that he's doing well is he's opening the door for us a little bit as to what's going on as best he can. He will visit with us and tell us what's going on behind the scenes. He's being transparent. Did you see the viral clip of Gas House Gang going around where he talked about the Fetty decision and now it's not a managerial decision, it's an organizational decision? He wants everyone in the clubhouse to feel good about winning. I mean, just listen to him. I mean, he's speaking as best he can because, again, you work for Bill DeWitt and John Mozeliak. He's not a yes man. He's hired by him. So he has his own thoughts. He's going to talk behind closed doors. He's going to do it properly. He's going to protect his players, but he's not averse to calling out a player or doing what he has to do in terms of manager to get everybody in line. I think that he is holding people accountable. From what I can tell, Ollie's doing a pretty good job. Now, you may disagree, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that last person, Kevin, disagreed or not. But he was just pointing out La Russa getting off to a rocky start around here. He did. I mean, La Russa got absolutely destroyed. I don't know if you all remember that, but he took criticism unlike anybody I've ever seen here. And as it turns out, he won 2 world championships and then said sayonara. But he's still around. He's still around. He loves you. He's got a big event coming up on Wednesday. We have a big interview coming up from Brett Norsworthy. He's going to join us live to talk college football, one of my favorite subjects. And I have to admit, this time of year, my mind starts to drift towards college football. If you're like me and you love college football, you know it's coming in late August. And it is America's number 2 sport right now behind the NFL. When we take a break and come back, we are going to be joined by Brett Norsworthy, who is on his way to SEC Media Days. WHBQ in Memphis, the Ole Miss pregame and postgame host. And guess what? He might be the Cardinals' number 1 fan. I bet you he has a few things to say about them as well. Back in a moment.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
I had someone who listens to Sports on a Sunday Morning ask me recently, hey, what was that Chesterfield fence and deck you were talking about? You know, I have to remind myself sometimes that I'm on 2 different shows, Total Information AM and Sports on a Sunday Morning, 2 different audiences perhaps. So I talk about them a lot on the morning show. Let me just mention real quick who they are. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, located. This is why I like doing these on 2 different shows, by the way. Hint, hint to anybody out there. 1968, been around for a long time. That's 57 years if I'm doing my math right. And in 57 years, you develop a clientele, but you also develop devoted customers. You develop trust. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck is an outdoor living company. Patios, pergolas, decks, fences, sunrooms, anything you can think of to make your outdoor living better. You want a new patio? Your first call should be to Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because they'll do a free in-home consultation and make everything look good and give you an idea of what it's going to look like, what materials they're going to use. They're the best in the business. I assure you of that. Go to their showroom and you'll see exactly why. It's massive. It's awesome. It's like an indoor neighborhood, Drew. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. The sign you have, the very best.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When it comes to baseball in St. Louis, there's one station that's all in. KMOX. At noon, It's the Gas House Game.
Let's talk some baseball.
Smart, unfiltered conversation with real baseball minds. At 5, the Redbird Rush Hour delivers sharp insight, fresh takes, and the latest from inside the clubhouse.
Now the pitch.
And when it's game time, we bring you every single pitch, all season long.
It's a gunner!
Others talk sports. We live Cardinals baseball. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
It is great to be back with you. Our final 10-minute segment of this hour, and then Lutz Pfannenstiel, John Mozeliak, Bernie Miklasz next hour, is with, from WHBQ Radio, network host, longtime for Ole Miss football, and America's #1 Cardinals fan, Brett Norsworthy, is with us on KMOX. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, Tom Ackerman. The highlight of my life to be on the home of the Cardinals and be called the Cardinals #1 fan. That the highlight of my life.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're happy. Let's give you some more. You are a devoted fan, but you're honest. I've joined you on your show, and I've heard what you had to say. Before we talk college football, and you're on your way to SEC Media Days, let me get your synopsis of this club and what you think of the 2025 edition.
Well, I'm going to quote my friend Tom Ackerman, like he said the other day with me. The Cardinals are in a really tough spot. You know, do you hold? Do you deal? Do you what do you do? And inside that, Tom, the team is a little bit old, a little bit young, and that's tough dynamic for anybody. And good, improved. I think Oliver Marmol's doing a great job with not a lot, and real tough spot going into the All-Star break and then to make deals.
Let me also ask you this before we talk some football. You are at least once a year a visitor to Busch Stadium. What is your experience like, A, and B, what do you think of when you see the empty seats on TV? Because I know you're paying attention.
It pains me. It pains me to the core, but the people are speaking. They haven't spoken fully yet, but they are speaking. They're speaking loudly, and it's what we got used to was the high standard of being a Cardinal fan and going to St. Louis. I'm 41-30 all time at New Busch Stadium, and I'll be up the week of Labor Day, that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday against the Athletics on my way to Lexington with Ole Miss football via St. Louis and see the Cardinals against the A's, and it's hard to get used to, and I don't think we'll have to be used to it long. I know the Cardinals, they see it, they recognize it, and they're going to make the changes and get the fans back to the ballpark like we love and expect.
St. Louis is one of those few markets. Cincinnati's another one I can think of that is both SEC and Big Ten footprint, so it's great to have all of those Cardinals fans from all of those areas come into town, and Brett is absolutely one of those. Brett, you're on your way to SEC Media Days. Are you fired up about this? I know that's another one that gets your juices flowing. College football.
Oh, I do. You know, I love it. Look forward to having you and the St. Louis crew back to Oxford. I hope for a game this year. And look at the spot that the team I cover, Ole Miss, and have worked for and loved for all these years, and Mizzou. Look where they are. And they both hired coaches in that same year after the 19 season, before the start of the 20 season that was COVID. And now look what Eli Drinkwitz and Lane Kiffin have both accomplished. And both of them lack one thing, getting to the college football playoffs. You know, 2 years ago for Coach Drink and Mizzou defeating Ohio State in a New Year's Six Bowl. That same year, Ole Miss defeated Penn State in the Peach Bowl. But last year, in the first year of the college football playoff expansion, both left out. That's all that both lack. They have something else in common, replacing two legendary college quarterbacks, Jackson Dart at Ole Miss and Brady Cook at Mizzou. I think both will be really good this year. I think the league's going to be really good. I don't know, Tom, that it's going to be vintage. I don't know that it's going to be like it was for so long. And the Big Ten winners of the last 2 years, and in the SEC world, I can assure you, 2 years without a national championship feels like 108 years for the Cubs without a World Series.
Is that the Nick Saban effect, Brett? Not only he being gone, but that he raised everyone else's level?
He did. Coach Nick Saban did do that, but it's also the Kirby Smart effect. And this is the least best Georgia team since Kirby's first year at Georgia. they've come back a little bit. And I think that one of the reasons why that the Big Ten has won the last 2 years and the SEC has had a little bit of a recession is because we've gone so 5 wide receivers, run pass option for the quarterbacks. I think the SEC is not as strong at the point of impact and contact that it used to be in the lines of scrimmage, and that Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day has brought that to the Big Ten. Brett Bielema has brought that to the Big Ten as well. It's your alma mater. You saw last year what Kurt Cignetti did with physical football. I think we've lost a little bit of that because if you don't do it on Tuesday and Wednesday, you're not used to it on game day on Saturday. And the SEC's gotten a little bit of a flag football effect instead of what made it the best, and that's being a hammer in the lines of scrimmage.
I'm holding up an Athlon Sports college football magazine for the camera here, and you can see that Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida are featured prominently on this cover. There's one team missing, and that would be Texas. They are the number 1 team in the league in my book, and I'm sure you would agree with me, although I take issue with this headline here. It says, Arch Madness, Manning Mania sweeps college football. Better be careful there. Missouri Valley Conference is Arch Madness. Okay, let's not let's not throw. And I'm sure that's going to be thrown around all year long. Arch Madness this, Arch Madness that. Let's remember where Arch Madness comes from. Okay, but Arch Manning,
that's for sure.
Arch Manning is the real deal, isn't he, Brett?
Well, we think he is, and we know that his uncles and his grandfather that they were, but he hadn't played a lot of big-time college football yet. Spot duty last year. There was a window or two last year that I think Steve Sarkisian put him in, maybe hoping that he would take over from Quinn Ewers, and it didn't take. He's going to be good, but I think we're poised for another Manning to be that good. But what if the unthinkable and we had kind of a dud Manning? Even at Texas, they're talking about maybe next year is the year that he really emerges. Well, they've been waiting for him for a while through the redshirt year, through last year sitting and watching and playing in spot duty behind Quinn Ewers. I think he's going to be good, but opening day on the banks of the old Intangi playing the Buckeyes, I think it's going to be rough stuff for Arch Manning.
The quarterback for Missouri, assuming he wins the job and stays healthy through camp, will be Bo Pribula. I don't see why it would be anyone but him, although I like Sam Horn. He hasn't gotten it to this point, dealt with some injuries himself, but Pribula coming from Penn State to Missouri. That said, what is holding back Missouri, do you think, Brett, where the SEC, and I see them pick 12th here in Athlon, and I'm going to guess at SEC Media Days they won't be much higher than that. What do you think is keeping Missouri from being thought of as an upper half SEC team?
I think just those other brands. I mean, look what they've earned on the field. 21 wins the last 2 years, as I said, very similar to Ole Miss. And as long as teams like Missouri and Ole Miss and South Carolina, and I think even to a degree Texas A&M, when those teams are winning 8, 9, 10 games, they've got to get them from somebody, and that takes wins off the top. And it's why I'm afraid, Tom, that the SEC this year will be a great league, but the ultimate 9-3 league. In fact, I went through lightly shaded pencils, W's and L's. I have 1 10-2 team, and I have 10 9-3 teams. That's the worst case scenario for the SEC, because then you're talking about 1 or 2 bids. Only got 3 last year when everybody was thinking 4 and 5 and some dreaming of half the bids. Only got 3 last year and did not even have a team in the finals. But Mizzou and Ole Miss, they both have to keep doing it for people to respect them.
Let me ask you about one more. Brian Kelly at LSU. Are they getting impatient down there? What's going on in Baton Rouge?
Well, they'll get impatient if they lose another opening day in the Battle of Death Valleys when it's Tigers and Tigers, when they go to Clemson to play Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. LSU hadn't won an opening game since 2019 when Joe Burrow was the quarterback, and they are getting impatient because the 3 previous coaches at LSU, Ed Orgeron, Les Miles, and Nick Saban, all won national championships, and Brian Kelly said he left Notre Dame to win a national championship. Marcus Freeman had a team in the national championship game last year. And I think Brian Kelly thought it was going to be a little bit easier than it's been.
Brett Norsworthy, WHBQ Radio in Memphis, Ole Miss pre and post. He is the best, and he's heading to SEC Media Days. I'll be spending more time in Oxford, Ohio this year than Oxford, Mississippi, Brett, as my daughter is going to be a Miami Redhawk, but I'll get down there.
Come on down. We're ready for it. Enjoy. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Well, it's great to hear from him. Brett Norsworthy with us on KMOX. And let me tell you, folks, he loves those Cardinals, but he'll be honest, as we all are, about our feelings. And right now they are mixed. You know, we're all going through it together. This is a strange time right now. Just one of those times. I remember in the mid-90s, you know, the Joe Torre years, and I'm too young to be, I turned 50 on Tuesday. So I was born in 75. So I don't remember the 70s. You know, my early memories are Whitey ball. But I know the franchise has been through some tough times. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Stiefel Sports Studio, sports on a Sunday morning.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Lifestyles Unlimited, the education and mentoring group with a roadmap and support to help you real estate retire.
Having the consulting team, having other avenues within your whole system is what's made y'all successful. Everyone is there to guide you to be successful. So it's just up to you to get off the butt and do it.
Do it. Take action today. Get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for $297, a 60% savings. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Today, the Cards, the Braves,
Hammer Total Access 1220.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. 104.1 FM, KMOX. News, talk, sports. Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Audacy app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Linda Kenyon. Emergency crews have suspended their search for more victims in central Texas amid new warnings of flash flooding. CBS's Jared Eggleston is in Kerr County.
Local officials in Kerrville have already sent out several flood alerts, telling everyone that they need to get out of the water, get away from the water. That is as a system is poised to dump inches of rain on the area that has already been hit hard.
President Trump's threat to impose tariffs of 30% on both Mexico and the European Union is getting some pushback. This person in Mexico heard through an interpreter.
I think it's a strategy designed to continue intimidating Mexico and to control us. But it gets us nowhere. It's like shooting himself in the foot.
The tariffs would begin on August 1st. It's been 1 year since an assassination attempt on then candidate Donald Trump during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. CBS's Scott McFarland says the motive remains a mystery.
He actually went dark in the final months. Our investigation found he used VPN technology to make his internet searches less trackable, then kind of ghosting the rest of the world as he had his online life. It may be a symptom of a problem, but it also makes it difficult to measure what Thomas Crooks was about and what was driving him. He died in the shooting moments after he pulled the trigger, and this FBI investigation that's been going on for a year is yet to show the world what the heck was motivating him.
A bullet grazed Trump's ear. One supporter was killed, 2 others injured. A new poll tracks reactions to the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration.
A new Gallup poll shows views on immigration shifting. The poll finds that fewer Americans, 30%, want immigration decreased compared to 55% just last year.
CBS's Elise Preston. White House border czar Tom Homan on CNN says a federal judge was wrong to halt immigration arrests in Southern California, adding only lawbreakers have reason for concern.
If they're in the country legally, they got no reason to be afraid. ICE is looking for those in the country legally, and we're still prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats. That's the priority.
Immigrant advocacy groups sued the Trump administration, saying it systematically targets brown-skinned people. President Trump is defending Attorney General Pam Bondi, who says Jeffrey Epstein did not have a client list.
Some Trump loyalists have blasted the release of a Justice Department memo about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The president posting on Truth Social that his Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job, and even reached out to his MAGA base saying, quote, "We're all on one team and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration."
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 11:03, we have mostly cloudy skies and 85 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story, U.S. Senator Eric Schmitt weighing in on the Epstein client story.
In February, Schmitt championed the release of Phase 1 of the Epstein files in a post on X. Now he isn't sure what happened to the infamous list of clients. I asked him his thoughts after Attorney General Pam Bondi previously said it was on her desk.
People wanted to know what actually happened, but I don't know the details of when or why it wasn't produced.
Should there be a Senate investigation into the handling of it, the handling of those files?
I've not seen any evidence that it's been mishandled, but at the same time, there's still a lot of
it was on her desk and now it's gone.
Yeah, I'm not going to parse words. There clearly is a belief that there's something there, but again, as a prosecutor, it'd just be inappropriate for me to speculate.
Asked again about the potential for a Senate investigation, Schmitt would not rule it out, but reaffirms he trusts Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Metro East fire department has been abandoned. All 13 volunteer firefighters at the Church Road Fire Department walked off the job Thursday. They resigned in support of their chief, Dwayne Carpenter, who was suddenly fired with no public explanation. The walkout means there's no one to respond to calls in the area. The department covers part of Cahokia Heights. In a social media post, the staffer said they're incredibly proud to have served the community with honor, courage, and commitment. It has been our privilege to protect and support the people of Church Road, and we're deeply saddened by how this chapter has come to an end. Nothing is on the back burner. That's how the Cordish companies responded when asked if the redevelopment of the Millennium Hotel changes anything about plans for Phase 3 of Ballpark Village. Mike LaMartina oversees the St. Louis market.
Neither comes before the other or in place of the other. We feel confident in all of these things happening to continue to create the density, the activity, and the residential living and jobs for downtown St. Louis.
The redevelopment of the Millennium calls for tearing down the existing structure and replacing it with 1.3 million square feet of mixed-use space. Now your weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy and humid for this afternoon. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm around. A thunderstorm could produce flooding downpours, localized damaging wind gusts will top out in the low and mid-80s. Partly cloudy tonight, down to 71. Clouds and sun for tomorrow. Pop-up thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 86. Clouds and sun, humid Tuesday. Couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 87. I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, we're right around our highs for this afternoon. 84 in St. Peter's, the same in Florissant. We have 85 downtown at the Gateway Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
As we were in our final break before CBS News, got a text from Joe Pott inside the Cardinals clubhouse that Ivan Herrera was there. And there has been no lineup posted. So the question is, if Herrera is back, who is out? Speculation only at this point. We'll see if the Cardinals make an official announcement. We do have John Mozeliak coming at 11:30. It doesn't get much more official than that. So we'll see what the president of baseball operations has to say to us. So hang on. Coming up at 11:30. We'll talk to Mo about that, about the MLB draft, about these final weeks before the deadline and decisions that have been made this past week. All of those things coming up here on KMOX with the Cardinals president of baseball operations. But again, Ivan Herrera is in the clubhouse. Joe Pott reporting that to us. So we'll keep watching that. Sonny Gray is the starting pitcher for the Redbirds today. The lineup he will face: Profar, Olsen, Acuna, Murphy, Baldwin, Albies, Alvarez, Harris, and Allen. To Ollie Marmol's point, they have a lot of firepower. They have good talent in that lineup. Murphy is killing them right now. He's only hitting .236 this season, but he has 16 home runs and 3 against the Cardinals in 2 days. Olsen's a really nice player. Acuna, of course, is an all-world player. Ozuna is not in the lineup today after hitting a tater yesterday, as the Cardinals end up getting the victory. This is and the Braves end up getting the victory. Cardinals Live sends us a note on, what is that on? X. Tom, I'm not sure if you're open to fan questions, but if you don't have a question like this already planned, I'd love to hear. Mo asked, it sounds like Fedde's start on Saturday was a decision that included different voices and opinions. What value did you see on Fedde making the start? That's pretty similar to the question I'm going to be asking him. So, and he'll answer it. I mean, he talked about it last week, and now we're going to ask him about the decision that was made to keep Fedde in there. So Mo's always been good about that. I'd say 99% of the time he does the 11:30 segment. Every once in a while he can't because of travel, but he always says yes. He always answers our questions, and he will do that at 11:30. Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City, is coming up in 5 minutes. City is playing tonight at 6 o'clock on Y98 FM against Portland. So we'll talk to him about this last week of training. Right now, they are playing in the All England Club at Wimbledon, and Carlos Alcaraz has won the first set, 6-4 over the number one in the world, Jannik Sinner. They have just started the second set. Alcaraz is going for 3 straight Wimbledon titles and trying to defeat Sinner for the 5th consecutive time since 2024. That is exactly what you do when you're a dominant player like Alcaraz. You just go out and you do what you do. He is an all-world player, and you can say that Sinner is the number one in the world. To me, it's Alcaraz. I don't think there's any question about it. And by the way, he's doing all this, and he's only 22 years old. Isn't that unbelievable? He's about to win, if he hangs on here, if he can win his 3rd straight Wimbledon at the age of 22. That is insane. He has won Wimbledon twice. He's won the French Open twice, and he's won the U.S. Open already. 5 Grand Slam singles titles, going for a 6th now at the age of 22. We have Lutz at 11:15. We have John Mozeliak at 11:30. We have Bernie Miklasz at 11:45. And at that time, not only will we talk Cardinals, I'm going to text Bernie a little heads up here that I'm going to ask him his thoughts on the John Kelly Blues decision that was announced just this past week. So we'll talk about that as well. That's a tough one for a lot of people, by the way. John included. So we'll get into that a little bit, but also a lot of Cardinals talk with Bernie Miklasz at 11:45. We heard from Brett Norsworthy about college football, specifically SEC. You can expect us to hype up and pump up our college football coverage here on Sports on a Sunday morning every week moving forward. We'll get into the Big Ten. We'll also get into some other schools. We were just talking to Drew about Southeast Missouri State. I want to highlight them. I want to highlight all programs as much as we possibly can in college football because it's a big sport around here. Illinois is going to be really good, folks, really good. Get ready for that. I think they're a top 15 team, maybe even to start the year when the AP Top 25 comes out. Do not be surprised if Illinois is being talked about. And if they do get past my alma mater and beat Indiana, and both of them will be ranked pretty close in the top 25, if they go to Bloomington and win that game, then you really will see it kick into high gear that they could be a threat to get to the Big Ten championship. So let's watch that. But Illinois is awfully good. I was telling you in the SEC preview in this Athlon magazine that I had, Missouri was 12. When you look at the Big Ten, which has expanded, as you know, they've added Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA. Illinois is 6. That's a really good top 6 there in Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois as the top 6 in the Big Ten, according to Athlon. Any of them could be playoff threats. The next grouping of Iowa, Nebraska, USC, Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, I'm not so sure about. Iowa's good. Iowa's always good. They're always solid. And then the bottom 6, they have Wisconsin, Michigan State, UCLA, Northwestern, Maryland, Purdue. All works in progress. I agree with that. We'll come back. We'll talk some soccer with Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for St. Louis City SC. It's game day. I drove by the stadium today. They have 20th Street blocked off for you. They have signs going up directing you where to go. Energizer Park is back in business. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Lutz, then Mo, then Bernie on KMOX.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
You are a successful electrical contractor, but you plus a dedicated team supporting your project from day one? That's taking your productivity to the next level. And Graybar can help you get there. Your relationships plus our relationships. Your capabilities plus our job site services. Your challenges plus our technical specialists. You alone can get the job done, but you plus Graybar, that's smart business. Yep, Graybar does that.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After proving the doctors wrong following my accident, I got back to baseball, started kicking field goals, and finally got paid as a pro kicker and ultimately became a leader in the marketing world. That's why I trust Renner Garage Door, exceeding expectations for over 65 years. They service, sell, and install top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster. Get your free quote today. Check them out at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
It's game day for St. Louis City SC, Y98 FM. Tonight at 6 o'clock, they'll be hosting the Portland Timbers at Energizer Park. And to talk about that and more is the sporting director for City, Lutz Pfannenstiel, joining us live at 11:15. Good morning, Lutz.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I am doing great, ready for another game. Time for a little payback as Portland beat St. Louis back on June 8th by a final of 2-1. This Portland team's pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing a good season for sure. That was, one of the games where we had a lot of chances, missed them. But Portland away on artificial grass is always an adventure. They came out just on top of us. We conceded very late and from a set piece, which was heartbreaking. But yeah, hopefully we can get the revenge today. Met the coach yesterday, which is a good friend of mine, Phil Neville. They definitely very, very motivated because they are on a good run to the playoffs. And
I saw where your interim coach, David Critchley, said that he felt like his team had a very good week of training. Why would he say that, and what did you observe?
Definitely a good week, a good week of intense training. I think there was positives from last week as well. And I think we just continue working on that plan. It's all about getting more and more back into our style of play, which you see, especially coming at the data points. We are close to be really there to finalize that one again where we want to be. And it was an interesting week for sure. Players coming back slowly but surely, which helps us as well.
I see that you have added Tyson Pierce, your midfielder, and your defender Jaziel Orozco to the first team roster. Short-term loan agreements ahead of tonight's game. We talked about Orozco last week quite a bit. Tell me a little bit more about Pierce.
Yeah, it's obviously the whole availability still not really in our favor. We have no center backs, hardly any center backs left. We have no central defensive midfielders left. However, with Edu Löwen coming back now in the squad, that's already a big one for not just having him around, but also being in the changing room. He won't be able to start the game, but that's one of the reasons why Tyson comes up. Tyson can plays a lot as a right fullback, but normally he also can play as a 6, as a central defensive midfielder. He does fantastically well in City 2. He also did very well for the national team when he represents the States at youth level. So he worked hard for that opportunity. And as you say, we have now all that injuries that it's now the perfect time, not just for Tyson, but also, we have with Mackay Joyner, another top young player still out there who will sooner or later play even more minutes for sure for us. And Orozco played a good game last week against Salt Lake. I think he just simply deserved another game today.
What is it about Löwen's personality and presence in your building that makes him such an important piece? We know what we see on the pitch, but we don't see behind the scenes Edward Löwen.
No, Edu, I know Edu since he's 15 years old, since he was a little boy, and he's just a great character. Just take the football out of it. He's a great human being. So for him to having him is amazing. I mean, the personal struggles Tommy has since quite some time is something, and I don't want to go too deep into that, but obviously there was a lot in the media in the last few weeks. I don't think that we can actually imagine or what he goes through and still goes training every week. I try to spend as much time as possible with him also outside the field, but for him to see that dedication he has to his wife, but also the dedication he has to the football and to his religion, the way he handles all that together is just a prime example of I would even say the perfect human being. And it's very emotional. I don't really can't really talk too much about that.
No, I understand. And I appreciate you discussing that as best you can. And, I know going back to injuries that you're dealing with a lot of that. And so player availability is hard. At the same time, you do have a chance to sort of integrate younger players into the mix. We talk about that a lot in sports. It opens up an opportunity for someone else. You just talked about a couple of them. And building for the future, as hard as it is, it does open up chances for others, doesn't it?
100%. There is always something positive when it comes to negative things. And we do have a really good academy system. We're always out there when it comes to the nationals. I think looking at City 2, the success we have there since we exist is something really to be proud of. And the boys working hard, and yes, it opens opportunities. And I think we're now in a position where we have that chances to throw more and more of the youngsters in the mixer. Same thing as the way we want to act on the transfer market. We also want to bring in young, hungry players. So all that together, it just gives us opportunities for the future. And, the guys deserve it. Just as the example, as you mentioned, the Roscoe last week, he came in, he scored a goal, he defended well, and it was his first MLS game for us. So that's always something we really want to look at. And there is still an unbelievable talent pool in the academy. I could give you now 5, 6, 7 names where I believe that potential good professional footballers, but then I probably forget another 6 or 7, and that's not fair to the first 6 or 7. So I think just the pool we have and the numbers of guys who are playing in the under 15s and the under 16s and the under 18s, there's a lot of potential. And looking there forward into the next 5, 6 years, I think we will see a lot of local boys getting their debut for the first team.
How about City 2? They made MLS Next Pro history with an 8th consecutive win, beating Austin FC 2 4-2. You have praised a number of people for that City 2 movement, including John Hackworth. I heard you drop Dale Schilly's name in there last time we talked. David Critchley, of course, is a big part of that success. There's a lot to be proud of with City 2.
Yeah, I think, has to go even further back. When Bobby Murphy was still here, he also was still a big part of that success story. I think the mix of this team makes it really special because we have really worked very well out so far with our draft picks, which doing really well so far for City 2 and mostly also getting appearances in the first team. And a good mix of academy players. And then we always have 2, 3 guys who are a little bit older, who are 23, 24, who kind of lead the team because you can't just play with the 17, 18-year-olds. But that mix made it successful. And, I think talk about style of play again. When you see City 2 play, I always, whenever I watch it, I just smile because you see that style, what we want to do. You see the intensity. You see the hard work, you see the pressing and the counter press every moment. And just watching that first half on Friday evening when they were 4-0 up away to Austin, it was amazing what intensity and workload they put into this first 45 minutes. Lots of changes, still walked over Austin 1-4-2, and 8 wins in a row, I think, speaks for itself.
What makes the U.S. transfer window different than the European, Lutz?
Then you would have to add another hour now on your show to get into the details, but I'm trying to keep it as easy as possible. The transfer window here is much shorter. It opens later than Europe, and it also closes earlier than Europe, so it's a very short window for us. It's simply said, it's not our primary window, but it's the international primary window, so you don't have a lot of time. And another issue, of course, he has his work permits. Signing a player within the window is one thing, but getting the documents, getting the work visa, getting everything ready is something else because it takes some time. So it's a short window where you have to be prepared from the start. So we're working literally on that second window. When the first window closed in April, we already started to work on that window now for the summer. And I think, the St. Louis supporters can expect a few news in the next few days or in the next maybe 1 or 2 weeks that there will be a few adjustments and a few players coming in. We need that. And I'm really looking forward to the window to open on the 23rd.
As am I.
July.
And I just got news that I'm going to be jumping in as your pre and halftime host on July 26th, filling in for Jen Cease on that day. So maybe you'll have a little news for me. I don't know. Well, I'll be up in the booth, so we'll have to hang.
I will pop in with a hot dog for you.
Always love talking to you. Appreciate the time. Good luck tonight against Portland. 6:00 start. By the way, Wednesday, City 2 plays Ventura County. So I hope that people come out because we have no baseball this week. So go out and see them on Wednesday. Lutz, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City and City 2, playing this week at Energizer Park, that beautiful building in downtown West. If you've not been, it's an absolute must. And while you're there, get the Balkan Treat Box menu. I don't care what you get off of there, but make sure you get something off of there. I would suggest the kebab. It's in a pita. It's unbelievable. My mouth's watering just talking about it. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk to John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, next on KMOX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. All good things must come to an end, and this is your last chance to move to the Preserve. Choose for one of our 6 move-in ready market homes or our magnificent Turnberry display at Mackenzie and Watson Road. Enjoy the many trails, lakes, and loads of wooded common ground at this terrific location. Take advantage of the tremendous savings and special 5.5% 30-year fixed financing on select homes. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Baseball fans, this is your night. LaRussa's Rescue Champions and the PenFed Foundation for Military Heroes invite you to celebrate Cardinals championships this Wednesday, July 16th at 6:45 p.m. at the Stiefel Theater. Relive the Cardinals' greatest moments from 2000 to 2011 with legendary players, epic game highlights, behind-the-scenes stories, and tributes to the 60s and 80s title runs. Every ticket supports incredible nonprofit causes. Don't miss it, Cardinals Nation.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stiefel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Cardinal baseball today at 1:15. Sonny Gray throws the first pitch. It's also a big day for the Cardinals. They have the number 5 pick in the MLB draft this evening. And joining us is the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. A good Sunday to you, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Always great to be with you. I wanted to ask you first, if you wouldn't mind, as much as you can tell us, our reporter, pre- and post-game host, Joe Pott, spotted Ivan Herrera over in the clubhouse today. Do we have a move coming, or should we wait for the official announcement from the club?
We do have a move coming, but we're still working through some things. So I don't have anything to announce yet, but we are going to activate Herrera today.
Okay, I appreciate that. And we, of course, respect that process. Lars Nootbaar hurt yesterday. It kind of that side still bugging him?
Yeah. I mean, we're a little banged up right now. And that's why we haven't announced anything yet, because we're just trying to understand, whatever corresponding move we make, how long are we going to lose someone? And just there are a lot of little details going on. But he's been getting nagged by that now for about the past 10 days. And, obviously had to come out of the game, and that's never good news.
Yeah, and you got all these nagging things going on. Arenado with his finger. What's the latest there that you can tell us?
Yeah, he's a little banged up too, and hopeful that obviously the 4 days off starting tomorrow will help a lot of these guys. I just think as everybody in baseball, as you get to that sort of All-Star break, you're always kind of limping your way home. But now the break will be good for everyone, and we certainly welcome it. But we still got to play today, so that's sort of the big question.
You do. Sonny starts today. I was at the game last 3 days, and yesterday, that's a tough one yesterday. I mean, I don't even know what you say there, except that he just gave it up. I mean, Phil Maton might be your MVP of the first half. I mean, he's been incredible. But yesterday's game just didn't go his way. It happens.
Yeah, tough when you probably the walk was the one that really kind of bites you, because now you bring up the go ahead run, and that's unfortunate. But you're right, he's been really, really good for us. So it's hard to be too upset, even though it was a tough loss, because it lined up just how you wanted it, right? And that's always frustrating.
What did you think of Fetty yesterday? And then secondly, I know a lot, it seems like a lot went into that decision as to whether he was going to make that next start. What did you weigh there, and what sort of value did you see in him to make that Saturday start?
Well, it's been such a polarizing topic, but I agree. The last 3 starts prior to yesterday have been not good. But, overall, he had pitched pretty well for us and gave us a lot of innings early on in the season. But as you get deeper into a year, you games feel like they mean more, because you're starting to run out of games, and I definitely understand the frustration. But yesterday I thought he did better. Obviously you still don't want to give up home runs, and obviously we're going to have to take a hard look at what we want our rotation to look like as we move forward.
I guess there's always a chance you could go to 6-man if you had to. But that is to be decided for another day as you get Sonny today.
Yeah, it's possible. I do think, though, our schedule, after we went through that rough patch, it does become a little bit more favorable as far as more consistent off days when we get into August, September. So I don't know if we really need to do that. But, something we can definitely consider.
Yeah. Today's a big day. The MLB draft, you and I have talked about this in the past, about how rare this is. I can't ever remember a 7 and then a 5 to follow. I mean, what a moment for the St. Louis Cardinals. You've been involved in a lot of them. This feels like a big one again.
Yeah, it does. And we're certainly excited. Obviously, Randy Flores and his staff have been working just tireless hours leading up to this. And, today is one of those days you kind of just hurry up and wait. You know what I mean? We kind of know what we want to do, but we also know there's 4 teams that pick in front of us, so we don't know exactly how this is going to play out. But, I think regardless, we're going to get a really good player, and, hopefully we get who we actually want. That would be super cool. But yeah, it's going to be a fun night and a fun couple days, because, as you know, yes, you get through the first round and you have more picks, but players come from all rounds. So you hope you find some lightning in the bottle too on day 2.
I remember in 2000, a young man by the name of Yadier Molina, and we said, I recognize that last name, a 4th-round pick. Who made that? Who oversaw that? Scouting director John Mozeliak in 2000. Take me back to that time when you all laid eyes on Yadier Molina.
Well, he was obviously, his brothers were quite famous, and so he had the pedigree. But the thing that was interesting is that summer we weren't getting him signed, and ultimately we had Steve Turco, who was a scout for us at the time. He was also a longtime minor league manager. He went and saw him at an American Legion tournament, and I remember he called me up and he's like, whatever he's asking for, just give it to him. And I thought that was it was a good endorsement, right? And so then, of course, we did get it done, and subsequently the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, he was always sort of something that made me laugh because Turco was a pretty conservative guy to begin with, and then for him to be so aggressive on it, it made that decision quite easy.
Oh man. So he's 43 today. Yadi's birthday is today. So that would put him at 18 back then.
Yeah, it's the young man.
Wow. And then, of course, there's the number 7 pick. And that was a bit of a surprise, maybe, or was it? I mean, he was because Weatherholt was injured. That's what kind of, got him to drop to 7 at that point. But he was highly rated prior to all of that.
Yeah. And I mean, his name last year was bouncing anywhere from, number 1 to, we knew he wouldn't get by us. I mean, we were thrilled, but, yeah, it was a guy that I think basically has lived up to expectations too. It was a really strong draft last year. I mean, you're already seeing guys in that first round having impact at the major league level. Obviously, Weatherholt is at AAA, so he's on the doorstep of the big league. So it was that was a really good college draft year.
What is it about him and his makeup that is leading to so much success? Here he is in the futures game, but before that, the guy crushes a home run and triples in his first AAA game.
Yeah, he's got a really good swing. He's kind of one of my kind of favorite types of hitters to watch, meaning he'll use the whole field. He's not afraid to go the other way, but he does have pull power. And, I think just overall, he's just one of those guys that he's so likable. You cheer for him. And his skills defensively are, above average. I think he can play probably all 3 infield positions, second, short, third. Currently have him working out at short, but he's versatile. He's athletic, and he's really just a fun guy to be around. And I think we're thrilled that we got him.
John Mozeliak with us on KMOX as we get a little closer to game time here and the draft. So as he said, hurry up and wait as we get closer. You've done a really good job, I think, on this show and sort of explaining how you and Chaim collaborate through all of this. Can you maybe take us in? I know this is Randy Flores is the main man on the draft, but how Chaim and you and everybody sort of work together in tandem here?
Well, I think in this particular case, Chaim's just observing, watching, listening. For me, I've always empowered the scouting director to do their job, and that's not changing. And, obviously, we all sit in, listen to meetings and that type of thing. But, ultimately, we put the pressure and the decision-making on Flo.
And the Cardinals will be making that number 5 pick today. What a day it is. We appreciate the time very much. I know this has been a week of frustrating 1-run losses, but it's a long baseball season. And if you can get this one today, go in there with a good feeling. We'll see what comes out on the other end of it on Friday. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks. Good to visit with John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations. Always good to give us his time. It's 11:40. When we come back, we break things down with Bernie Miklasz. A lot to discuss with Bernie. Back in a moment on KMOX. It's sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio. The Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, how an innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Joining us is Dr. John DiPersio.
Until very recently, until this paper and a few other groups in the world have sort of developed approaches for T-cell malignancies, there was no hope for patients who relapsed. There were no effective therapies. This is a way of treating these patients that would normally have no other recourse.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It's good to be with you. We're here for a good 12 solid minutes with my pal Bernie Miklasz. I love this segment so much. How are you, Bern?
I'm doing good. Really, trying to watch some Wimbledon this morning and can't wait for Cardinals baseball. Can't wait for the draft. I mean, it's a really great Sunday of sports. We got City playing, I heard you talking to Lutz, and be nice to see them get a win at home.
Yeah. And, rarely does Mo giggle in our little meeting here on sports on a Sunday morning at 11:30, but he seemed genuinely fired up about this draft. And why shouldn't he be? I mean, 5th pick in the draft, they're going to get somebody great.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what'll happen. Because I think the draft nicks that I pay attention to and I think do a really good job. And, of course, no one can guess everything right, but they've all got pretty good sources and they get information. So I'm thinking it's going to be this young shortstop who's 17 years old, Willits, out of a high school shortstop in Oklahoma. His dad was a outfielder for the Angels and also a coach for the Yankees. So he comes from a great background, and the fact that he's 17 kind of makes me nervous. I don't know why, but he's apparently apparently a 5-tool player. So, do you take him for example, if you have him the highest rated player on the board, do you stick with that? Or do you look at, well, we don't have much separation. Let's just say hypothetically, the Florida State pitcher, the lefty named Arnold, who is very, very highly rated. If they have those two guys kind of even, do you go for the pitcher? Because you really do need starting pitching, and you got to kind of replenish that stock. That's always fascinates me about what teams do, because everybody, you talk to baseball people, they said, no, you can't draft for need. You just can't. You got to take the best talent on the board when you pick. So I'll be curious to see what'll happen tonight, because like you said, I think they're going to get potentially a great player. So we'll see what happens.
I agree. It'll be really interesting to see what happens here. Here's a player who the Cardinals were able to put into the mix, and he's 25 years old, and this guy might be their best hitter. And it's Ivan Herrera. He is in the lineup today. He is the DH. I see him at number 2 in the order as we're getting some reporting from the clubhouse. The first I had heard of it was Joe Pott putting eyes on it when he walked in the clubhouse today. He saw Ivan before the lineup started to leak out. I asked Mozeliak about that. He said, we're going to announce a move here shortly. I can't give it to you just yet, but Herrera's back in there. A welcome sight.
Yeah. I think it's a good little, it's only one game, but I still think when he walked in there ready to go and his name was in the lineup, I'm pretty sure that had to give Cardinals a little bit of a upbeat kick, a little more, just a little more positivity, a little more of a boost morale wise, because it's been, the first 2 games were tough. But listen, I'm not going to give you a bunch of numbers, but let me just leave you at this. You talk about what a great hitter Herrera is. Among National League hitters this season that have 170 plate appearances, he's 4th in batting average, 6th in on-base percentage, 12th in slugging, and 6th in OPS. And if you go OPS plus, he's 5th. So we're basically talking about an all-around top 5 hitter in the National League.
Cardinals just officially submitted their lineup. Donovan, Herrera, Burleson, Contreras, Sajaci, Wynn, Fermin, Pajes, Scott. Fermin is the left fielder today. Sajaci at third base. Arenado still dealing with that finger injury. Newt has the side injury. We'll see what they end up doing there. But yeah, this has just been a frustrating week. I mean, first the whole wait to see if Fetty was going to start on Saturday. Then, they get beat twice in 1-run games. I just, I'm now back to just understanding that this is a year in development. I'm trying not to get too excited about the team when they start to creep up in the standings. I'm trying to be real about it.
Yeah, Tom, it's funny because just imagine me, a vision in your head of me like sitting in a chair pondering the fate of the Cardinals. Like I was like sitting in a chair just thinking hard about this, just losing myself in thought. And the thing of it is I think it's really important between now and the trade deadline. I mean, it's one game today, and then you come out of it, and then you're going to be right on top of the trade deadline after the first 6 games. But here's what I come back to, and maybe this is my pragmatic side, right? You're right. It is a season of development. But in terms of, I just look at, okay, how is a team trending? And if you look at the first 3 months, for example, April, it's actually the, it's actually the first 2 months. They had a really impressive run differential, but since the beginning of June, I can't talk today. I don't know what's wrong. I apologize.
I was like that the other day.
Unbelievable, so it's like, get the marbles out. But since the beginning of June, they're like a minus 21 run differential, and that kind of stuff tells you where a team is, and to just extend the point a little bit, since the 1st of June, the Cardinals' overall ERA is 27th. And the pitching's really gone south. The starting pitching ERA since the start of June is tied for 29th. The bullpen's been fine. On the offense, has really just kind of gone down. I mean, it's still capable of producing. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have to tell our listeners that there's just been, starting in late May, there's just been way too many games where they score 2 runs, 1 run, no run, and so it's very, very inconsistent. So if we look at this pragmatically, and if you look at the teams they're competing with, many of whom have for a wild card, many of whom spend a lot more on players this year, and also those teams, frankly, have had a lot more injuries than the Cardinals, so they're getting people back now. And frankly, those teams are more talented than the Cardinals. I'm just looking at it pragmatically. And so my conclusion, where I sit today, is they got to be realistic. I mean, this thing is trending in the wrong direction, virtually every single area. And you've done it where I know the Cardinals are banged up, and I get it. But compared to other teams have just gotten annihilated with injuries, and the Cardinals have actually been really fortunate. So I think they can't take their eye off of what this season was supposed to be about. Yeah, they can be 2.5 games out of a playoff spot, but do you think if you don't have a chance to sell off some players and you don't do that, and who knows, maybe they would get something really good for Ryan Helsley. Maybe, I would think that Maton would be, very coveted. I think there'd be a market for him. And I'm just naming those 3 guys. Do you hold on to them when you have a chance to strengthen your future? And then at the end of the season, to use the cliche, you're left holding the bag. You've got nothing to show for it because you didn't make the playoffs,
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, they're buyers and sellers together right now. And then the way this thing goes in the next couple of weeks, if it starts to move that they're going to be out of it, there'll be more sellers than buyers. But I think they'll be active, nothing crazy. But man, you got to start thinking about the future. I mean, that's the whole point.
And I really do believe they have 3 valuable players to take to the market. Those 3 pitchers I mentioned. I'm not saying you're going to transform your franchise by what you get back, but I think you can definitely reinforce the talent you have and have some guys that will be part of your future. Just the way when they traded Montgomery to the Rangers. I mean, they got Sajaci in that deal. We love him. He's going to be a really good player. And then I think Takeo Roby is going to be a good, say, number 3 starting pitcher for the Cardinals. So that's a really good example. Even when they traded Paul DeJong to Toronto, they got Swanson, this relief pitcher. This guy's good. He's good. This is a piece for not only now, but for the future. So I would just reference to that. You can trade guys that are not superstar players and still get a really good return in value. And John Mozeliak made good trades in these instances. So do it again. I mean, as I just really believe, do it again. Now, listen, if they come out of the All-Star break and they win their first 2 series or whatever, I don't know, maybe you revisit it. But my pragmatic side is kind of overruling my dreamer side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. And, this show covers all sports. And with a couple minutes to go, I want to close with this because I can't do a sports on a Sunday morning and not mention John Kelly, who's one of the more classy people I've ever come across. And I love Chris Kerber. We all know that. And everybody involved, Tom Stillman, Chris Zimmerman's been a great colleague and professional. I mean, everybody in this thing that the Blues announced this last week is a friend. So that's why I struggle with it. I just was floored that it was John Kelly who got left without a chair. I mean, that will be a major adjustment for me.
Tom, it's so disappointing, not just for John, who is and when it comes to broadcasting in St. Louis sports, he is a institution. He's a legend. He's iconic. He's right there with his father. And, John Kelly has been such an important part of Blues hockey over the last 20 years. And he's incredibly generous with fans. He gets involved in the community, and he's very popular. And I have to say, this one, I'll use your word, this one floored me, because if it's any other team, you say, well, listen, these things happen. These things happen. The Blues are so classy. And I did a video at STL Sports Central about that a couple weeks ago, about, they set the standard for just doing everything right, just from top to bottom. And it just stuns me that they signed off on this decision. And I don't know what kind of pressure might have been put on them by FanDuel Sports. I don't know. But some of the stuff that Chris Zimmerman said, I was just like, whoa, this is John Kelly. This isn't some guy you put in the booth like 3 years ago or whatever. It's John Kelly. I mean, his father's banner hangs from the rafters. The name Kelly, 2 generations of great hockey broadcasters of Blues games. Those guys, they're not disposable. I'm sorry, they're just not. John Kelly is not disposable. And so I'm just stunned that it happened. But Tom, to be totally candid, as I just said, I'm really stunned that the Blues made the decision, and Chris Zimmerman said they signed off on it. So, 2 of those things are stunning. The fact that he's gone, and the fact that Tom Stillman and company just said, okay, I guess we have to move on. I mean, wow. I really don't even know what to say. I've said plenty, but if you start replaying it in your mind, it's still like, what happened there?
Yeah. And it's a tough reality of our changing business. I will say, I wish Curbs and Joey all the best, because they are super, super talented, incredibly hardworking, trustworthy, loved individuals within that organization. And I just hope the best for them. Bern, we got to,
well, everything we're saying, it has nothing to do with Curbs and Joey.
No, of course.
Great. Yeah. We love those guys, but it's just John Kelly. Anyway,
any of these,
I know you got to go. So thank you.
But any of these transitions are tough when it comes to this business, and anything in sports for that matter. Bernie, you're the best, man. Have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you soon.
You take care, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral